Our top story, Donald Trump's aide Navarro has attacked India day after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met with Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, and that bonhomie that we saw in China. 3 top US officials have commented on the meltdown in India-US ties. There were back-to-back comments coming in from Navarro, the White House trade advisor, Jake Sullivan, the former U.S. National Security Advisor, and U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. White House trade advisor Navarro escalated his criticism of India, which he has been actually doing for the last 2 weeks, calling Prime Minister Narendra Modi's engagement with Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping a strategic mistake. He said, and I quote, "It is a shame to see Modi getting in bed with Xi Jinping and Putin," adding, "We, as in the US, hope he comes around to seeing that he needs the US and not Russia." His comments also reflected frustration with India's geopolitical balancing act. India has been in a cold war and sometimes a hot war with China for decades. Navarro noted, the White House trade advisor asserted, and I quote, "It doesn't make any sense," unquote.
To ask for more money from our taxpayers to pay for that. That's crazy. So the road to peace in many ways runs at least partly through New Delhi. It's time for Modi to step up. I have great respect for Modi. I love the Indian people. It was a shame to see Modi getting in bed as the leader of the biggest democracy in the world with the 2 biggest authoritarian dictators in the world, in Putin and Xi Jinping. So we hope that the Indian leader comes around to seeing that he needs to be with us and Europe and Ukraine and not with Russia on this, and he needs to stop buying the oil.
Big statement coming in from the Oil Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, who has dismissed White House trade advisor Navarro's laundromat remark, asserting that India has not violated any rules in purchasing Russian oil, and its energy trade since the Ukraine war has helped stabilize global markets and keep prices in check. In a signed article for The Hindu, Mr. Puri rejected claims of profiteering, saying India has long been the world's 4th largest exporter of petroleum products, well before Russia's invasion of Ukraine back in February 2022, and its export volumes and margins have remained broadly the same. Some critics allege that India has become a laundromat for Russian oil. Nothing could be further from the truth, he wrote, without directly naming Mr. Navarro. Aditya Rajkol now joins me live on this story. Aditya, really nothing new in what the oil minister has said, but it had to be said because the White House and their rants continue, and so do the facts that really are not, cannot be corroborated in terms of them being true.
Well, Vedika, the White House and the attack dogs of Donald Trump are really not stopping. They're frustrated. They do not know how to advise Trump. They do not know what is the solution to get India on board, and certainly do not know how to negotiate on trade with India. And that's why such bullying tactics have been adopted, theatrics visible, ever since last couple of months. And it's a reality. There was an Alaska summit in which Trump met Putin. Then why is there a problem when Modi meets Putin? Modi is a prime minister of an independent sovereign country and engages diplomatically with several other, leaders across the globe. Xi Jinping has spoken to Trump several times. Then why is Trump engaging with Xi Jinping and Putin? On the other hand, Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri finally breaking silence and making a very strong, comment, saying that there is no profiteering, there's no evidence of profiteering. We are getting crude oil since a very long time, and we are one of the biggest exporters. So the reality of the matter really is, Vedika, that as of now, Donald Trump is out of options. White House is out of options. They do not know how to react to the SCO declaration. They do not know how to react to the images and the visuals that we saw of Putin and Modi and Xi Jinping together. So that's why these casteist laws come in, that Brahmins are profiteering, and now saying that you are in bed with the authoritarians and instead you should be with the Americans. But the reality also is, Vedika, that Americans are in bed with a terror nation like Pakistan. What did we see after Operation Sindhu? We've seen Americans time and again defend the Pakistanis. defend terrorism and terror groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, who have blood of not just Indians, innocent Indians on their hands, but also Americans. Remember Mumbai 26/11 attacks. So the reality of the matter continues to be that this is not over yet. We do hope that there will be even stronger reaction by Trump over the next 48 to 72 hours. But there could be an off-ramp as well. If you analyze in detail the Truth Social post of Donald Trump, then Vedika, it does seem that he's suggesting that time is running out and there seems to be some kind of a negotiation that still is underway. So backroom dialogue between Indian diplomats and the American diplomats continues. It's just a matter of time. What kind of an off-ramp will there be? Because the Americans desperately want Indians to buy US military weapons and aircrafts.
Yeah, that's something also coming through with what Besant has said, really, the off-ramp that we're talking about. But in the interim, the damage in terms of the optics, the significance of these ties over 2 decades is also suffering.
Absolutely, it is suffering. But I would also take you back to the first term of Donald Trump. You know, he had almost like a summit with the North Korean leader. Who is a bigger authoritarian than that? I mean, the kind of lessons in democracy or value-based systems that Americans love giving the entire world, especially the global South, should be implemented first on them. I mean, everything in diplomacy and this, rules-based international order, everything, they can break everything. But for others in the global South, others particularly in Asia, it seems that they need to abide by certain, so-called principles of the Americans. As of now, as per the optics and the messaging that has come out through the White House, it's not a good story, but it's also not a good story, a positive story for Americans itself, because they haven't had solutions, either in the Russia-Ukraine war or the Israel-Hamas conflict. And one of the longest, allies that they had for decades together, cultural ties, people-to-people contact, strategic defense partnership, and economic partnership.
Right.